Hi, fellow traders. In this video, I'm going to share with you my WTW trades from the end of last week. I kind of want to share with you how it ended up on my radar and, how I managed it, how I watched it, some mistakes I made trading it, and eventually, how I ended up, ending my year off on a good note, with nailing the move that I've been looking for. But it got on my radar from Tuesday. This is the move it made Tuesday on some volume. I think it's some news came out or whatever. And this is one of the tickers that's been pretty hot the last couple months with Oprah coming on. And it seems like every time they mention her name, the stock does some crazy stuff. So I was looking to take advantage of it. Didn't really see much else. So I always want to have something that I'm watching, just in case nothing else pops up that morning or whatever. So, this looked interesting. I said I would look at it, that night before. That night, and this is what I saw when I logged in and I pulled up the daily chart. These yellow orange lines you don't worry about because this actually marks some pre-market highs on the intraday chart, so that they don't really matter here on this daily. But what I was looking at, the first two levels was at 1750 because it tested it, that day before it got bought back up. And then this level here at 20 because the day before it tested it and then sold off again. So these were the first two levels I was looking at. And these were the levels that I was going to base my trade off of, my plan. If this thing got down and opened on this support and lost it, I was going to take it short. That was a nice window for a short. If it gapped up over this and held, it was going to be a good long setup to possibly this level here, at 21.30 or, on up. So, that's what I was looking for. I had two plans. Obviously, I would want it short because you had a bigger window short. But, there was a long, so I was looking at both. And I am a long bias trader, just trying to make myself a little bit more short oriented or short biased on some things. But for the most part, I am a long biased, trader. So what I did when it opened up the next morning, this is a pre-market. This was yesterday's close. That was the previous day's close. And, it opened up here testing this 20. It opened at, I think, 19.99. Yeah. Testing the 20, faded off. And right here, tested it again and pushed through it. So it pushed through the 20 mark. And automatically that took out my short trade here. And, I went ahead and marked this. This was a pre-market high. So now I'm looking at, again, short's my biggest window. So I'm having a little bit more short biased. Even though this chart is telling me long, this 60-minute chart is telling me that this is a long bias trade. I'm seeing more window of opportunity short, so I'm forcing myself to look short. That was the first mistake I made. But this was my plan. If it faded, if it tried to push the pre-market high again and fail, I was going to short it, looking to cover down here. If it pushed this, then I would look to go long, over this level. But I really wanted it to be short, and that's kind of what my bias was. So we got the open and we got this big 5 minute candle that hit first, which I think the range was what, $1.12. So this was looking like if this level held on the next candle, on this candle, as it's printing, I'm thinking, well, shoot, if this level holds, I might be able to get an entry long off of it. Well, in the meantime, it hit my 5 minute opening range breakout scan. So this should have been a long for me. Should have been a long, but I'm following the crowd in chat. Everybody's thinking short. I want short because I've got a better profit opportunity. So I'm not really thinking long. I'm ignoring the signals that I'm getting telling me that this is a long trade. I mean, there's just no indication that this is going to be a good short trade. So, I'm looking here, I'm looking at the 2 minute. This is where I should have got in, when this held on the 2 minute. Now, it did chop around and it did take a while to move up, but I wouldn't have got caught in this mess. And I think some people in chat took it short. But my short was going to be based on the 22 level at this point. 22 was a psychological, whole dollar mark. So, and this thing ran up and it was tapping the upper deviation band. So I didn't think it had much potential to the upside yet. So I'm thinking a short back down to at least pre-market, high. And if it held and started to push off, I could get out, still have a decent profit. So that was what was going through my head. But this one popped up and fell 22, closed back below 22. This one kind of did the same thing. So I ended up taking my trade. I think I got in at 22.03 and thought I was going to get the move here. But the price action was just crazy. And I ended up taking it off for like 25 cents because I just didn't like the price action. And then this candle ran up. And you had some people that shorted off of this candle and took it back down to the 9 or the VWAP. That was a nice scalp, but that wasn't really the move that I would have been looking for. And as you can see, this turned out to be a good long trade. It's choppy. You've got to do some riding to get there, but you're talking about a 2 point move from when it hit my scan up into, where you would have really gotten a signal to get out, up in here. So I really botched that because I didn't trust what I saw. I didn't trust my scan, didn't trust my chart awareness, didn't trust anything. I'm sitting here wanting it short because other people wanted it short and because there was a big window, a better window of opportunity for me. But that didn't work out. Ended up with 25 cents. I think that was the only trade I took that day. And, pretty not too pleased with myself. So I think around in here, I started noticing that a lot of the big short sellers were taking positions or they were announcing that they were going to take short positions. And I know this was the front side of the move. It hadn't rolled over and established the back side yet. And typically, as a rule, you don't short on the front side of a move. Or if you do, you have to be real careful. So I didn't short. I wasn't looking short. I really wasn't looking to trade it anymore because it was pretty much gone. I was thinking more for the next day because this was day one of the all-day run-up. So, tomorrow might be the backside of the move and a good time to short it. So what I did was, I mentioned it in chat, but I kept my eye on it, and I was expecting to squeeze up to 24, and that's exactly what happened. They squeezed it back up to 24. Some covered some of their positions. They left some on, got to move down. But I really was thinking Thursday is going to be the day to short this thing. And I was thinking I was going to get a move all the way back down to 20, if I shorted it the next day. So that night I'm looking at the daily, and this is what it looked like. You got the gap up, it ran up and tested, that before it settled back in. Now, looking at this is kind of a bullish chart. But this is my key level right here. It's already failed it here because it tried to recover and get back over here, and it didn't. So I'm thinking this may fail it again, roll over and give me a short back down to this 20 level. And I had it on radar, and that's exactly what I wanted, out of this. So I went into pre-market, the next morning, watching for this setup because I wanted it short. Now, that evening, I did reserve some shares because I thought everybody and their mama, based on what happened the day before, is going to jump in this thing short. I might not have any shares in the morning. So I went ahead and reserved some so that I would have something to short. And I knew that I wasn't going to be at home at my platform. I was going to be at the doctor's office. So the best thing I could have would be a laptop and my phone. That's all I was going to be able to have. So that's what I was kind of looking at. And so I knew pre-market I was going to look for this thing to possibly gap down some or come up and test this again before it rolled back over. My level to get short on this from the night before was going to be 24.50s. I was looking for it to test that so I could get short and make a nice run down. But it didn't seem like it was testing it much in pre-market, but I was still interested, still working on it. And bam, out of the gates, it did just what I wanted it to do. It came up and tested it. I got short at, I think, 24.61. And because I knew there was going to be a period where I was going to be in dark territory with not able to use my phone or my laptop, I went ahead and put a hard stop at high day, which was 24.80, because I knew if this thing ran away, this is where I needed to get out. So what I did, I did that, and I was only in half size because of the situation I was in, but I knew I wanted this move. And sure enough, it gave me, some of what I was looking for. Didn't make it down here to the 20 mark that I was looking for it to, but it did come down, give me a nice fade, and I did get out of it here. By the time I got back to looking at it, I was on my phone, and I could only get a 5-minute chart on my phone. So what I did, I just went back to my old way of trading. When I get a 5-minute candle to make a new high relative to the previous one, I exit the trade. So once this gave me a new high, I went ahead and took it off. But it was a nice win, nice way to end the year. And it's just one of those trades that, it may not set up the first day, because if you're trying to short it on the first run, on the front side of the move, you're going to run into some problems. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes you catch it right when it starts to roll over. But I always like to get it to confirm. I always like to short it against resistance, which I did right here, and gave me a good base, to give me a stop on. The high day was perfect, and just let the trade work, and that's pretty much what I did. That was the move, and great way to end my week. But I just wanted to share that with you. Just kind of recap that trade, what I looked at, how I managed it. I made that big mistake um, Wednesday by not following my conviction. It looked bullish to me from day one, from the beginning, but short just showed so much more range or potential profit that I let that cloud my judgment. Because everything was telling me, this was not, you know, going to roll over that day. This was the front side, and this was going to continue to grind its way up. But I hope everybody had a good new year. Really looking forward to starting out strong in 2016. So I hope everybody, in chat's ready to go. I know I am. I know everybody is. And we want to make this, an awesome year. So everybody enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll see you bright and early Monday in chat.